I was counting.
Shalom, shalom. I'd like to give all praise and honor and glory to
Yahweh,
Hashem,
Hashem,
Yahweh
Yahushua,
Shai,
Hashem.
Hashem, Rakadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders, the great millstones, your best. And salutations to the hopeful elect brother and all who push the word in sincerity and in truth, man. I wish in their lives not free to do so. We out here once again to prophesy the downfall and the destruction of America, which is Babylon the Great, which was spoken of in the book of Revelation, the 17th as well as the 18th chapter, right? We come out here for our people, so-called black, Spanish, Native Americans, to tell them to come back into the ways of the Lord and to repent before the great and dreadful day of that judgment, right? So we'll start off with this scripture, the book of Romans. Romans chapter 13.
It's Romans chapter 13, verse 11. And that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now our salvation is nearer than when we believe. This is Romans chapter 13, verse 11. And that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep.
See that the scripture says now it's high time to awake out of sleep. I just sleep that this world, through the power of Esau, Edom, has put our people under. They're under a gross, darkness, and they're in a deep trance right now. To the point they don't know who they are. They don't care to know who they are. They're stuck doing all manners of abomination. Scriptures, Hamashiach Yahushua said, what? Now it's high time to awake out of that condition, man. Because being in that condition is not going to get you sleep. I'll say, go ahead, bro.
This is Sirach chapter 13 and verse 13. It says, observe and take good heed, for thou walkest in the peril of thy overthrown. When thou hearest these things, awake in thy sleep.
Yeah, the scripture says awake out of that sleep, man. When you're in these perils, man. Alright? You're supposed to awake out of it. Like I said before, in order to get saved from this place, Babylon the Great, out of the mighty destruction that the Lord's going to bring upon the place, you have to be awake. You can't sleep's going to get you killed, man. Alright? They even say it itself, man. Sleep is what? Because of death. Alright? Yeah, the Lord is not coming back to save dead souls, man. He's coming to save souls that's life, that's built up. Alright? To read it, yeah, quicken, man. Yeah, which means to be made alive. That's the soul that the Lord wants, right? That's been equipped with the Holy Spirit, the breath of life. Alright? So we gotta get
This Romans chapter 13, verse 11. That knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep.
Yeah, and then especially it's the time now because we have the bitter end of the last days. Right? We always go into how the last days is the time period when you read Hebrews the first chapter. Alright, actually we get it. Hebrews 1 and 2, you get 1 and 2. You know? Now, when you read Hebrews the first chapter, they'll let you know that the last days is the time period. But with it being a time period, there's a beginning. There was a beginning of the last days, and there's an end. Alright? And we're about to see what part of the last days we're living. Alright? Because the scripture, like it says in Romans 13, you have to wake out of sleep because now it's high time. It's the time now. Alright, go ahead.
This is Hebrews chapter 1, and I start at verse 1. It says, for the Most High, who at sundry times and in diverse manners spake in time past unto the fathers by the prophets.
And that's how the Lord always spoke. He always spoke by the prophets. Alright? Even when you get in the book of reading the book of Genesis, even though it doesn't list any major prophets, there was prophets that even existed back then. And that's how the Lord always spoke. For example, when Jacob and Esau, when they were born, it said what? That the mother inquired. Who did she acquire from? She acquired from the prophet. You know? The prophet of the Lord. So this is how the Lord always spake. Alright, good.
It says, who in times past spake, it says, spake in times past unto the fathers by the prophets, hath in these last days spoken unto us by his son.
See that by his son. Alright, so with the son, which is Hamashiach Yahushua, when he came on the scene, that was the beginning of the end. Alright? That was the beginning of it. But now that he died on the cross for our sins, alright, for the nation of Israel's sins, alright, and now we're living in a time period where these prophecies are being fulfilled. We're living in the bitter end of that time period, man. We're living in the bitter end. Alright? So this is why the scripture says it is high time to awake out of sleep. We at the end where the Lord's gonna make his second return. This place, Babylon the Great, America's gonna get blown off the map by Russia, China, Iran. Alright, basically the BRICS nation, that's what they'll title it. Alright? So we gotta wake up. Let's come back to Romans.
It's Romans chapter 13, verse 11. And that, knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep. For now is our salvation nearer than when we believe.
So that the salvation of the Bible is nearer than what we all believe. That holy salvation that the prophet spoke about, that was mentioned in the book of Isaiah, Jeremiah. Jeremiah said that it's going to be a salvation that's going to trump, that's going to be greater than the deliverance that the Lord did in Egypt. All right? That salvation is nearer than we all believe, man. All right? And that's what we should hope in. That's what we should find comfort in. That should be our holy hope right there, man. Because this world right here doesn't have any hope for us. You walk the street right here next to the liquor store, our people basically try to find comfort in hell. They got couches set up on the block, strung out on drugs. That's not comfort.
Now these people, look, I'm the camera on that shit on the floor. I just noticed when I was coming in, putting in my garment.
Yeah, that's a needle.
It's a needle. Focus on that shit, man. Because the brother was just talking about it. See that? So that's, like you said, man, that's how people strung out on drugs. Because we looking for pleasure, right? In the place of hell. But you can't have fake pleasure. Fake pleasure can't replace real hell. So if you're gonna have real hell, then you gotta have real pleasure. The only way to get real pleasure is through the scriptures, right? Really comfort. Because we don't really we're not happy. We're not seeking happiness. Alright, we're not seeking happiness because happiness is fleeting. And happiness cannot be sustained when you're a slave. Alright? So that's the reason why. We can't be happy because we're slaves. And slaves cannot sustain their happiness. Why? You're always worried about something. As a matter of fact, we said, get it, 28. Let's get us some of this place. I think it's, it's at 28. And then, do that. And also, started, when it says, and you shall go one way against them, you shall go 7 ways.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 25. And it said, the Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thy enemies.
Right.
Thou shalt go out one way against them,
Right.
and flee 7 ways before them.
Right. Well, what does it mean? It means that, yeah, you're going to walk sometimes, that's why you have marches, right? Jacob's going to march. Jacob might burn a couple buildings. But for the most part, you get your ass kicked. That's what the Lord is saying. Yeah, you're going to step up and march and burn your whole neighborhood and shit. But for the most part, you get your brains blown out. For the most part, you get your ass handed to you. All right? And that's what it means to be a slave. Now, also,
Verse 28, jumping down to verse 28, and it says, the Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness, and astonishment of heart.
that's right, an astonishment of heart. Now that we're speaking of astonishment of heart, go to 65.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 65.
Right?
And it says, and among these nations thou shalt find no ease.
Right, amongst the nations, right? Because we are amongst the nations, right? We're captive, but we surrounded by multiple nations in Babylon, right? Right?
And it says, and among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy feet have rest.
Right, see? And also, we get on 2 Corinthians 6, what's that, 59? When it says in the Hebrews,
No, this is 2nd Ezra chapter 6 in verse. Wait, that you want is verse 57.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, this is 2nd Ezra chapter 6 and verse 56. It says, "As for the other people which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing."
Like the heathens are nothing, but all of them are brothers. Right? They get all the like they get tax-free loans, business loans, which we don't get that. They get different things that Jake doesn't even get. Jake's still waiting on reparation, which we know that's not gonna happen. Because America's broke. Alright? You're not gonna get no reparation, America's broke. Alright?
It says, thou hast said that, thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle, and hast likened the abundance of them unto a drop which falleth from a vessel. And now, O Lord, behold, these heathen, which have ever been reputed as nothing, have begun to be lords over us,
Right?
and to devour us.
Right, you see those with the Chinese man in the carry-out, he's a lord. Because you coming out here buying this garbage ass food and he's still yelling at you. Or she, you know how they deal with us. And the thing is that when they are in their shops, they act like the shop looks like doing some third world country. But they don't live in places like that. When they drive home, they drive into these neighborhoods. Alright, whether it be amongst Edomites or amongst themselves in these suburban neighborhoods. That's where they live. They make a lot of money off of Jake. But what Jake is sleeping on couches right in the middle of the damn street. Or you see Jake leaning. You see Jake leaning for like a whole 30 minutes. And you're like, dang, bro, like you barely conscious. Yeah, the whole day just leaning. And then everybody just walks past and they hiss and they shake their head. Well, the reason why you shaking your head is because that's a sign. The scripture said that you would do that to the nation of Israel. Because you will see the nation of Israel in total division. Alright? So laughing at us and mocking us and treating us the way you treating us, all you nations beginning with Edom, Esau, you're doing that because we're the Israelites. And we're poor because we're the Israelites. We're downtrodden because we're the Israelites. Alright? We are people whose nationality was stolen. Our culture, our true culture was stolen. And it was replaced by a so-called made-up culture by the CIA called hip-hop culture. We know the hip-hop culture is a CIA operation. It's not our culture. But it's destroyed our people. It's destroyed our men. It's destroyed our women. And it destroyed our children. All right? But the men of the Lord are standing up against that through the spirit and power of the whole body of Shema. Because why? Because we've been given the knowledge of the Holy Spirit. And we've been given hope. All right, so we get back to
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 65.
Right.
And it says, "And among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy feet have rest, but the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart."
a trembling heart, man. And that's the heart that we have. It's a trembling heart. You brothers know, man, every time you get pulled over, you see them lights, the little red lights, you hear that whoop, whoop. You know that feeling in your chest when you get pulled over, especially nighttime or whatever. Anytime you get pulled over, it's like it's a certain feeling that all of us know. You're like, shit. You know what I'm saying? Then again, being in the neighborhoods, you coming home from work, and you got 20 niggas just standing there and talking. Grimy niggas, you like, shit. So everywhere you go, it's just like, shit, it's a trembling heart. And then you got shootouts. When niggas are shooting outside, you don't know a straight bullet that's gonna come out flying through the walls and shit. Come on, man. That's why the scripture calls it what? The valley of the shadow of death. And the nations, they trample us, and then we get oppressed by some of our own people. Street niggas, gangbangers, man.
It says, "But the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart, and a failing of eyes, and sorrow of mind."
Right, failing the eyes, and the eyes represents what? The vision. So scripture tells you without the vision, the people what? The people perish. And that's what it means to fail in the eyes. It doesn't mean to go physically blind. All right? It's talking about no vision. Our people are lost. All the nations are out here eating, man. And they've been eating for a long time. But when it comes to us, it's only 25% of us that are allowed to succeed. So-called succeed. And you got all the list, all the shit that you got to do to be part of the 25%. I mean, listen, that's crazy. But if you don't believe in the Most High, guess what? You're going to do that. That's why you have Catholic couches, dudes doing homosexual activities to get money and fame. And you're like, damn, why would you do that? Because they don't believe in the Most High. They don't believe in judgment. All right? They believe in just getting money and getting the bag. Well, that's no vision. There's no leaders in our so-called communities. All you have is what? All you have is the Al Sharpton, them old pimps turn reverend. All those reverend niggas were old pimps, man. And guess what? The FBI got papers on them niggas, man. That's why every time you niggas get stupid and want to burn and you want to walk, you want to really go ape shit, they got to send an FBI agent or FBI informant like Al Sharpton or J.C. Jackson. All those so-called leaders of FBI agents. Even with the northern tribes, you know, so-called Hispanics, the leaders of groups like La Raza. Like La Raza is a group that it's like a militant Spanish group, you know. La Raza, they stand for so-called, you know, base Hispanics. But the heads of those groups, of those militant groups are what? They're CIA agents. They're CIA FBI agents. All right? Come on, man. You can't trust none of these so-called revolutionaries, man. The only revolution is the revolution of the spirit of Yahweh Bashim al-Shah, which comes with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Right?
It's the book of 1 John chapter 2, verse 15, and it says, love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. Right? If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. Yeah, you know, going to the house and say, you have people out there pretty much selling out. All right? They doing all type of manner of abomination to get their money. And it's really not worth it. That's why the scripture says, love not the world. Right? These are the things that's in the world. Because this world, we know that a lot of the things in this world is tainted. Right? So why would you risk your salvation over things that's corrupt?
Yeah, and the reason why they do it because, like you said earlier, they don't have hope. They don't really believe in salvation. You know, when niggas talk about beefs that America's got with all the rest of the nations, they say, well, we got to do this to the Russians. We have to, like, the fuck is a we, nigga? You are a slave. All right, you're a slave. Like, how in the world would a slave side with a slave master to talk about going and fight the slave master's enemies? That's the reason why Esau was so bad when certain Negroes decided to join the British army. When the British, remember the Revolutionary War, when Great Britain was fighting, you know, America was fighting for the so-called freedom of independence. You had Negroes that had joined the Redcoats. That's why you had that song, that racist song that Kaepernick was talking about. If you listen to that song, that cracker's talking about the niggas that ran and joined the Redcoats to fight against, the American military, well, not really military, revolutionaries. Yeah. So it's like, they're mad because you like, hold up. You don't want to be a slave to the British, but you want me to be your slave. How does that sound? You fight for your freedom and liberty, while the whole time you got slaves. Come on, man. So when we say that, that's why we can't say we gonna drop bombs on Iran, we gonna do this, and we gonna do that. Ain't no we, man. It's America and then it's us. All right?
So that's why they feel like, oh yeah, we have slaves, but we don't want to be a slave. They didn't look at us as people.
They did. No, you're right. You didn't. That's the reason why. It's like, well, it's an animal. Like, you don't even count. And it's the first, the amendments. It speaks about how we fix the land, something like that. If I'm not mistaken, they still haven't removed it. They still haven't removed it. So, you know, hey, listen, we understand what it is. You put things on paper, we get it.
Psalm chapter 25, verse 21. It says, let integrity and uprightness preserve me, for I wait on you. Yeah, this is Psalm chapter 25, verse 21. Let integrity and uprightness preserve me, for I wait on you.
Yeah, absolutely. Integrity, which Shop was talking to brother, talking about some of the things that these guys do is because they're lacking integrity. Because even if you don't believe in Yahweh Hashem, you don't know. Even us, we didn't always know Yahweh Hashem. But there's certain things we was like, nah, man. You know what I'm saying? It was like, nah, dog, I can't do that. I know I'm broke, but man, I can't just go ahead and wild motherfuckers, man. You know what I'm saying? Because again, being in darkness is not that hard. All right? Because you see these so-called tough guys out here, man, you know, acting tough because they're being wicked. Being wicked is really not that hard. You know what I'm saying? Catching somebody in the dark, like catching somebody in the dark when they come home from work and robbing them, that's not really hard. Like, you put your mind to it, you can do that, but that's wicked. So he's like, nah, we're not going to do that. We're not going to sell drugs to our own people. You know, to destroy our people. We're not going to do that. But, again, the lack of integrity can get our fathers to let them do.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 2, verse 14, and it says, for when the Gentiles, which have not the law, do by nature the things contained in the law, these having not the law are laws unto themselves.
Yeah, and really, to be honest, because, you know, we always talk about Israelite foreigners and Gentiles, but to be honest, all of us are really, you know, Gentiles. If you really think about it, if you put in perspective of the fact that, what was a Gentile? A Gentile was an Israelite who lost his inheritance, meaning, when I say lost the knowledge of his inheritance, which all of us did. So really, and if you're talking about it, all of us was in that state of mind, the Gentile state of mind. That's why we call ourselves Americans and this and black and Negroes, Hispanics, and all Puerto Rican. That's a Gentile state of mind. All right, but that's like the scripture said. But still, it was things that we did that were according to the law, and we wasn't even in studying the laws. You know, we weren't studying the laws. We also wasn't reading the Bible. You know what I'm saying? We read the Bible when we was young, we were being forced to go to church. But when you separated from you became your own man, you're like, I ain't going to bed, you go to church, man. You know what I'm saying? You was out there in the streets trying to find yourself. But still, there's certain things you weren't going to do. All right? And that's why, because at the end of the day, we're Israelites. The laws are so much always attached to our spirit. Whether we keep them or not, the laws are always, it says the laws always have dominion over an Israelite man as long as we live it. So even the 2/3, there's certain things, even as wicked as they are, there's certain things that you're like, I don't know, man. And that's a wicked nigga, but he's like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, this is Romans chapter 10, verse 2. It says, for I bear them record that they have a zeal of the Most High, but not according to knowledge.
Yeah, they're zealous. It's not according to knowledge. It's all really, a lot of it, you know, especially the ones who call themselves going to these churches. A lot of it is just the zeal, it's enthusiasm, right? It's the energy. Because remember at the time, that's Romans, right? Because remember, you got to travel back. When I say travel back, you got to travel back in time and remember who Paul was talking to. He was talking to Israelites who lived in Rome. So if you do your secular research, right, and you go into what Rome, like the one, remember the documentary on Netflix about the Roman Empire. They're beautiful because it takes you back to you. It's like you feel like a Roman citizen watching this shit go down. You're like, oh shit. You know, and that's how you gotta feel when you read these books sometimes. You know, like you see this documentary, that's what's good because you're like, okay, cool. I feel like I'm in Rome and I see how the Romans live. And I'm like, you imagine yourself as an Israelite in the midst of all that madness. That's what Paul is talking about. He's talking to the Israelite in the midst of the madness that's going on in Rome. And he's like, yo, man, you guys in Rome, you have a lot of zeal, but it's not according to knowledge. You know, you're doing a lot of stuff, you're into a lot of worshiping this, a lot of different gods, and, you know, but you're not really following your true power. Remember who you are. All right, you are Israelites, you're not Romans. All right, that's what he kept telling us. Remember who you are, you're Israelites, you're not Romans. Don't keep the laws to the best of your ability, but The main thing is believe in the Most High, believe in the Son, you know what I'm saying? That's the main thing he kept, reminding Israelites in Rome. All right?
And having citizenship came with like a certain status.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when Jacob presented power like that, they try to identify it. For example, somebody that got a good job, they like to say that, I am something.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to do that.
And that was big back then. Yeah, that was big. You look at that, any form movie, documentaries, the Roman mindset was, that's why America's the reincarnation. Like the Roman mindset was just like America right now. Like people say, nah, I'm American, you know what I'm saying? That means something. Well, back then, Rome was doing the same thing. Like you see the movie, and the woman is like, oh, Roman woman, who you talking to? Like, oh shit, you know what I'm saying? Because they would have slaves. And then the men, like even the Roman men, would, they would boss up on the men that were Romans, like different regions and shit. And then the Roman man was afraid. The Roman man would talk to the Roman woman, and she'll talk back like, I'm a Roman woman. We ain't just talking to no regular woman. I'm like, damn. You know, so you see that shit. Yeah, you see that shit like, shit, that's exactly what goes here in America.
You can tell by who's gonna get tough. They say where they from.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I'm from New York. I'm from DC. I'm from here. It's kind of like a status symbol.
No, it is status. It is status. Being a Roman citizen is status. That's why Paul used it when he was in court. When you read the book of Acts, he used it to say, yo, come on, man, you gonna arrest me, put me in jail with no substantial reason? I'm a Roman. I have to go here. He said, I have Roman citizenship. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you doing? When they found that out, they was like, oh shit, we gotta get him out of here. And then it was on the hush hush, like, yeah, because they knew you put a Roman citizen in jail, but with no substantial reason, your ass is in trouble, big trouble. All right?
Says, verse 3, for they being ignorant of the Most High's righteousness and going about to establish their own righteousness, have not submitted themselves unto the righteousness of the Most High.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Jacob's doing now. Even Jacob that knows they're Israelites, they're establishing their own righteousness. They follow the gospel, and they're being taught. They get taught the right way, by the elders and the apostles. Makes situation arrives, and all of a sudden cats get offended. Cats get offended. Matter of fact, you get that. What's that, man? Parable of the sower. What's that? 11. It's 13. The parable of the sower is 13. Further down, 13. So you got guys that you get that. But you got different types of Israelites, man.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 13, verse 31.
Right?
And it says,
No. Okay, the parable of the sower states. The seed that fell on the stone.
this is the book of Matthew, chapter 13, verse 20. And it says, but he that received the seed of the stony place.
Yeah.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 13, verse 18. And it says, and hear ye therefore the parable of the sower, when any one heareth the word of the kingdom, and understandeth it not, then cometh the wicked one and catcheth away that which is sown in his heart. This is he which receives seed by the wayside.
Right.
But he that received the seed into stony places, the same is he that heareth the word, and anon with joy receive it.
Good. And that's the thing. You got a lot of guys that realize in years they receive the seed in stony places. So the seed, which is the truth, they got the truth. And at first, they had a good run. At first, they were like, all right, cool, man. The doctrine was the way that was taught. And all of a sudden, situation arises. All of a sudden, the man is singing a different tune, using the same scriptures, coming up with his own interpretation. Right?
And it says, the same is he that heard the word and anon with joy received it, yet had not root in
himself.
Yeah, so you got a lot of guys that receive this gospel, but they're not really rooted. Because you got to be rooted and built up in your house shop. Right? For you to be rooted first, people don't understand. Like when you're talking about farming and cultivating the land, you got to till the land. Meaning you got to get rid of everything that was already in that land. Roots. You got to go all the way down to the roots. And that comes from humility. And then the seed got to be planted on the soil. And that seed is the word, and the word is Yahweh Shai. You got to truly believe in Yahweh Shai. And when you do that, then you can be built up. But you got guys that the seed falls in stony places. And the thing about the seed falling in stony places, it's not going all the way down to the soil. It's stopping at the surface. Now it's still going to sprout, but you can easily pluck it out because it stopped at the surface because of the stones, right? Because of the hard ground. Right?
And it says, verse 21, and it says, yet he hath not rooted himself,
Right.
but nor for a while. For when tribulation or persecution arises,
And that's the thing. When tribulation and persecution, the winds, right? That's what the scripture speaks about, the winds of trials and tribulation, right?
and it says, when tribulation or persecution arises because of the word,
Right?
because
Because of the word.
Of the word. You see what I'm saying? Jake forgets that. It's not just, hey man, shit is happening. No, it's happening because of the word. All right? It's not a coincidence. It's happening because of the word. All right? You have to understand it.
and it says, by and by he is offended. And it says, he also that receives seed among the thorns, the seed that care for word, in the care of this world, and the deceitfulness of riches, choke the word,
accept this word.
That's right. You get it.
Verse 22, we also that receive seed among the thorns, the seed that hear the word, and the care of this world, and the deceitfulness of riches.
And the cares of things we talked about, right? The cares of this world, the deceitfulness of riches. So, yeah, you got guys that they struggle with the word in them. It's a tough thing. They're like, man, they see opportunities to make big bucks, but at the same time, they want to do the word of the Lord. So what tends to happen is you trying to do both. It's going to turn into what? It's going to turn into a gifting. All right, you're gonna be like, all right, let me use the word. I need to make money. Let me start selling paraphernalia, right? With the name of the Lord on it, to make a business move. And then you get into entanglement out there with people in the world, makes you know, man, you're like, hey man, listen, you're looking at the word like the word is not profitable right now. And my pockets is light. You know what I'm saying? My pockets is light. I got bills to pay, homie. Well, it's not that you got bills to pay, man. You want to be rich. The scripture tells you labor not to be rich. It's not because the Most High don't want us to be rich. He doesn't want us to be rich in this place, man. Because it's gonna compromise our heart, man. It's gonna make us weak, man, when it comes to this word. Yeah, it's gonna destroy our heart, man. You imagine, listen, I don't care who you are, man. You in this gospel and you fall upon 50 mil, man, listen, bro. You can try and be like, oh man, you say, oh man, I'm gonna spread it around. Yeah, I believe you will. But you probably still gonna be sitting on 25 mil. Man, you go out there, you cop you a little Lambo. Life changes, baby. You know what I'm saying? Life changes. All that anger and rage. The real anger and rage, that righteous anger and rage that you have to come out in the highways and edges, the enthusiasm that the pep in your step every time you come, you're angry, you're mad, you hate this place. You get on that Lambo Aventador and it's like all that shit go away, man. Now you don't want to come to camp, skipping camp days. It's not really that important. God still loves me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's what I'm Absolutely. So those things can destroy your mind, it's going to destroy your faith. That's the reason why the Lord said, labor not to be rich. He meant labor not to be rich in this time and in this place. The guys don't get that, so they fall into that category right there. Good.
And it says,
And the deceitfulness of riches choke the word, and he becometh untruthful.
Yeah, he becomes untruthful. He gets a change of lifestyle. We seen guys do that, actually. We seen guys stumble upon money, and it was just a matter of time, and they started to find themselves back in the world. Living the IT life. All right. We'll see, man. I mean, you forgot. So all this talk about the nukes hitting this place, that's gone. That's going out of your mind, bro. Oh, you believe, you know what? I'm gonna die before the nukes come. That ain't what you was preaching. You didn't believe that. You know that's not true. But you just blocked it, the subconscious. But that's sick. Blocking the subconscious, and you ain't really worried about it. You worried about the right now. Hey, I don't know what's gonna happen later. But right now, I'm winning. We don't move like that, man. In the spirit, we gotta suffer. You understand that we here to suffer? Let's get on Romans 12.
Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 2.
Right?
It says, it is better to go into the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting.
Yeah, it's better to go into the house of mourning. Because what happens in mourning, when you're in sorrow and pain, whether it be death or losses, different things, you lose in your job, you lose in your house, whatever you lose in, man, you're taking L's, right? What tends to happen when you're taking L's? You meditate, you constantly thinking, so you thinking, dang, man, and when you're in that state of mind, that's where you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be meditating, prayer, and soulful, that's what you think. But the house of feasting, and also when you're in the house of mourning, guess what? You study more. You taking them L's, you study more, you really in that zone, like that pain and suffering. But the house of feasting, man, when you out here partying, man, and life is good, you ain't learning shit, bro. Like I always say, when was the last time, man, you was out there just having a blast and you learned something? The only thing you might have learned was you probably saw some wicked shit, and you're like, oh shit. But you don't really learn, you don't come out of there with the knowledge of a new scripture. No, man, you don't get better understanding by being in a great mood all the time, man. You can't be a man of the Lord and be in a great mood all the time. Those things are scarce, because we always be in the house of mourning, we always asking the Lord, like, how long? When you gonna break the kneecaps off this world, man? All right?
It's Proverbs chapter 30 and verse 8. It says, remove falsehood, vanity, and lies. Give me neither poverty nor riches. Feed me with food convenient for me.
Yeah, read it again.
Yep. This is Proverbs chapter 30 and verse 8. It says, remove far from me vanity and lies.
Yeah, vanity and lies. Bullshit, man. There's a lot of things in America is full of shit. A lot of people full of shit in America. And they sell you dreams. America's full of fucking scammers, man. You got dudes out here making money, they ain't never scammers. They'll set up a whole so-called business online, ain't no damn business. You send all the money thinking that you won't get the product never shows up. And this dude's riding around with, fucking Porsches and shit with your money while you sitting there waiting for the product. Man, you don't lie, man, the product ain't coming, it's been 6 months. And he keeps saying, it's coming, man, it's coming. We have a problem with the retail, and delivery and all that. Man, bro.
People selling dogs for money.
I was thinking of that. I knew it.
Yo, niggas stealing dogs, They stealing dogs and selling them, man. Come on, bro. Just grimy shit now. But they'll do whatever they gotta do to be so-called successful.
It says, give me neither poverty nor riches. Feed me with food convenient for me.
Right.
Lest I be full and deny thee, and say, who is the Lord?
That's how be fooled and deny it, because we gave examples, but
It says, or lest I be poor and steal and take the name of the Lord in vain.
and that's the flip side, right? The flip side is although you don't want to be rich, you also don't want to be destitute. Oh, as a matter of fact, this is we are not in despair. You don't talk about like the gift from the job.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I think that's Romans 8.
Yeah, because the Lord speaks about we can't be in a situation where you just totally downtrodden, man. You know, like you totally despair, where you like, yo, I worship Jehovah, I shoot outside, look at me. I sleep in a fucking, I sleep in a dumpster, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's gonna crush you, man. And then you're gonna go out there, you're gonna start doing some wild shit. You're gonna do some wild shit, man, and wild people, and sell drugs, and be like, hey, man, listen, hey, I had to do what I had to do. You know, the Lord, and then you start saying, yeah, man, it's okay. You know, like,
Tupac the time where they turn against him.
yeah, and that's that too. Yeah, that too. You know, you end up turning your back to the Lord. You're like, man, I'm doing good and you fucking me up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want that. You don't want that. So the Lord gives you just enough, so we could be stable. All right. Yep.
Yeah, this is 2 Corinthians chapter 4 and verse 8. It says, we are troubled on every side,
Right.
yet not distressed.
Yeah. We are troubled on every side, yet not distressed. Right.
It says, we are perplexed, but not in despair. Persecuted, but not forsaken.
Right.
Cast down, but not destroyed.
See that? Read that again, man.
Yep.
That's very important, man. When you go through what you're going through, sometimes it feels like you get, cast down. You know, sometimes, hey, you get cast down, man. In the spirit. You know, shit happens. And you get like a multitude of the so-called bad luck. Now, there's no such thing as bad luck. These things are set up in the spirit. You know, because we know what it is when weird shit happen and they snap, you know, like, you get shit happen, right? But it's different when you get bad shit happen, bang, 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 bang. You're like, damn, man. I had $1,000 next week, now I got nothing. Because just, fucking tire blows out, weird shit happening. And you just gotta dish out money. So, you're like, hey, you know what? Cool. But the Most High still make sure, you have enough, just to get by. You have enough just to get by. That's the life. You want another life we live? That's the life that we live. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we got a little bit of money. Sometimes we got zero. And sometimes we on negative grade. Hey, listen, there's been time I open up that account, and I'm like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? I was on a black, now I'm on a red, I'm on the negative. But when you get negative on the fucking bank, they're sitting like, you gonna charge him, fees, overdraft fees. They're like, ooh. And then wait with them for like 24 hours, and then they're like, oh, this past week, that's like they on the clock, oh, this past 24 hours, here, put the money back, bang, $30. Oh, 72 hours, bang, another like 48 hours, bang, another $30. 72, bang, another $30. They're like, yeah, we just got $60 free. That's the type of life we live, you know what I'm saying? But then make sure you know the Most High give us some local change. Yeah, might get a bonus here, a little hustle. So that's just life we live. That's what keeps us honest and it's true. But
It says back in 2 Corinthians chapter 4 verse 9, it says persecuted but not forsaken, cast down but not destroyed.
yeah, we cast down, but we're not destroyed. And if we were destroyed, we wouldn't be here. And we certainly wouldn't be here with the type of mentality that we had and the fire that we had. We wouldn't be here. So at the end of the day, hey, listen, are we complaining? Yeah, yes or no? I mean, we complaining because we still slaves. But as far as like catching hell, at this point, man, we already made peace with that. All right, you signed up for this. You made peace with the fact that you ain't gonna be a big baller. You ain't gonna be big status. You're not gonna be walking around famous. The hoes ain't gonna love you like that. That's just it. You signed up for that. All right.
It's the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 1.
Right.
To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven.
Yeah, it's a purpose. All right, we're talking about, the guys on YouTube, they always talk about stay up, be on your purpose. And that's true. Every man has to be on his purpose, but you gotta understand what's your purpose. Once you understand what your purpose is, then you can focus. Our purpose is not getting good. Because they got this weird imagination that, oh man, he ain't got his own. Nah, man, our purpose is not to get women, bro. Like, if you want women, there's ways to get that. But we're not impressed by the American women, so we ain't worried about it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not impressed by the American women. So our purpose is what? Establish, the name of Yahweh shall be established on earth. All right? And the nation of Israel being brought back and being established on earth in true, proper rulership, righteous rulership. And Yahweh Shai ruling and getting what he deserves, which is a people and in the nations. All right? For the great sacrifice that he made. And us having slaves, like servants. That's a part of, that's what we want. We don't want nothing. America has nothing to offer to a Hebrew Israelites who's sincere in the gospel.
It's the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 1. Right? To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. Right. Skipping down to verse 6. A time to get and a time to lose. A time to keep and a time to cast away.
Hey man, that's a life. That, like I said, that's a life of a Hebrew Israelite in this street. Anything else, you're fooling yourself, man. You're fooling yourself. Hey, listen. There's been times where I got super blessed and I started getting hurt. You know what I'm saying? That's how crazy it is. You get paranoid with me like, damn, man. I caught like 5 rapes. It's weird. It's like, cause you're like, yo, that's gotta be Satan. That might be Satan. That motherfucker probably up to something. You know what I'm saying? Because you kind of used to catching hell. Like, yeah, I got my blessing. You like, something's coming. But then the thing that comes is another blessing. You're like, okay, that's cool, but I know something's coming. Something's coming to blow this shit up. You know what I'm saying? And then you get another blessing. Now you're paranoid. But it's a season. Most High blessing. But you better believe this could be a season where he's gonna wreck you, And then he's gonna build, because it's a building process. There's certain things within ourselves that we need to get rid of. All right? And the Most High would let certain things be brought into your life to bring those things out of you. All right? Because you don't know a lot of the shit that's inside of you. But you will know because certain things we put around you, whether it be people, women, jobs, different things we put around you to bring that shit out of you. So you could be the first one to notice it and start working on it. That's the process of purification. All right?
Back in 2 Corinthians chapter 4 and verse 10, I'm going to briefly read verse 9 again. It says, persecuted but not forsaken, cast down but not destroyed. Verse 10, always bearing about in the body of the dying of our Lord, Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, that the life also of our Lord Yahweh Shai might be made manifest in our body.
Yeah, that's what we're speaking right now. We're speaking life. Although we're dying daily, right? The process of dying daily is what you see in the teachings, right? That the wisdom, the knowledge, the understanding, the breakdown. The reason why you're getting this life through the Spirit is because the men of the Lord that believe in Yahweh Shai would die daily. So us getting our asses kicked comes into the process of why we know the things that we know. But if you're not willing to go down that path of sorrow and that straight gate, you're not going to receive the secrets of the Lord. It's a sacrifice, it's a give and take.
Verse 11, it says, for we which live are always delivered unto death for Yahweh Shai's sake, that the life also of Yahweh Shai might be made manifest in our mortal flesh.
Yeah, and that death is not always dying, meaning the end of life. There's things that kill you. There's something called a slow death. Example, child support. That's a slow death. You know what I'm saying? Alimony. That's a slow death. There's certain things that kill you slowly. They kill your spirit. But they might kill a part of your spirit. All right? And if you go through these things there.
So then, death working in us, but life in you.
And that's what it is. So when we die, but you know what? We okay with that death because that's a purification process. That's how we able to get all the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Because Jake be thinking, hey man, that's just because you got a great memory, you're able to remember scriptures. So, nah, man, you gotta understand something, man. You can have great memory and study a whole bunch of scriptures, but if you don't have the understanding of these scriptures, you got nothing. You ain't nothing but another Christian. Matter of fact, let me think it's Ecclesiastes 22 and 28. Yeah, so it says little understanding way, I mean, they're not. They just super they were 22 and because basically the scripture speaks about a man that has little understanding is better than a man that has great knowledge, but great law. Right? You find it. I'll look for it.
This is back in Corinthians it says, so then back in 2 Corinthians chapter 4 and verse 12, it says, so then death worketh in us, but life in you. It says, we having the same spirit of faith, according as it is written, I believe, and therefore I have spoken. We also believe, and therefore speak, knowing that he which raised up Yahushua HaMashiach shall raise up us also by Yahushua, and shall present us with you.
All right, so hold on, you want to read that again? Yeah, let's get this scripture. Got it?
It's the book of Ecclesiasticus, book of Sirach, chapter 19, verse 24.
Right.
And it says, he that hath small understanding,
Right, he that has small understanding, right,
and feareth the Most High,
right,
is better than one that hath much wisdom and transgresseth the law of the Most High.
there you go. So you can get all the precepts in the world, but if you don't have understanding, you can say with all that, get understanding. Without understanding, example, basically a quick example. You got one man who knows 100 precepts, right? But he doesn't understand none of that he saw that's coming out of his mouth. But he could remember that, he could put that out, he could speak of it, right? Now, you have another man here who knows 3 precepts, but he fully understands those precepts. How do you know? Because he applies those precepts in his actual life. He's not just speaking about it, he applies it in his actual life. That man with those 3 precepts that he completely understands by application is better than that guy with 100 precepts who comes out here and bloods out with his study. Alright? That's what the scripture is saying. So you fall into the trap of knowing all these precepts. And the thing is this, another thing. You're not going to get the understanding of reading. Understanding, there's a reason why it said it's wisdom, knowledge, and then understanding. I always say, knowledge is a sprint. Understanding is what? It's a slow walk. So you can sprint all the way you want with the knowledge, but the understanding is still all the way back here, taking its time. It's not going to catch up to the knowledge until what? A long period of time. Which comes with what? Trials and tribulations. Which comes with dying daily. Right?
This is 1 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 1.
Right.
Now, as touching things offered unto idols, we know that we all have knowledge.
Yeah.
Knowledge puffeth up, but charity edifies.
Yeah, so you get puffed up because of knowledge and good time. You can't do that. It's a trap. And that's a trap that Satan put out there, which is easy because everybody wants knowledge. You want knowledge. You don't want to not know. But the thing is, what you want is the understanding. And the understanding is the application of what you know. Alright? Not just knowing it's not good enough. You have to apply. Because Scripture says, what? There's one that teaches many, but it's impossible to himself. And you definitely won't want to be that guy. Hey, listen, I'm not coming out here dedicating my life to just, bump my gums, man, about the word of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Help all these people who the spirit get delivered, and me, I get music. Nah, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you doing what you gotta do. Why? Because what you preaching is not what you practicing. Alright, the scripture, not the scripture. This is thing, and I keep talking about this. It's called dogma and proper. Alright? Dogma and proper. The dogma is what? It's the doctrine. That's what a dogma, our doctrine is dogma. If you look at the word dogma, it means doctrine. Now, pragma means the practice. Alright, so you can't just be about the dogma, you have to be pragmatic. Alright, you have to be able to practice what you are preaching. And you got a lot of guys that preach, but they don't practice. that means they don't have understanding of the doctrine. All right? It's very important to understand that. Right?
This is back in 2 Corinthians chapter 4. I'm gonna start back at verse 12 again. It says, "So then death worketh in us, but life in you. We having the same spirit of faith, according as it is written, I believe, and therefore I have spoken."
Yeah, what was that written in? Psalms. You get that right quick? The Psalms 116 and 10. I still remember it correctly. Here always used to bring out precepts. You know?
It's the book of Psalms chapter 116, verse 10.
It's just saying, I know it's, I believe everybody smoking.
Yes, it is.
I was like, man, I could have sworn like that. Man, that's the whole precept right there, man. But it's a good thing to know because when you read the New Testament, the man of the Lord always quoted the Old Testament. That's why we're not Old Testament only. The man of the Lord said, as it was written. So Paul was speaking about that precept. Go ahead.
It's the book of Psalms chapter 116, verse 10.
Right.
And it says, I believe, therefore have I spoken.
Right.
I was greatly afraid.
There you go. So we believe, therefore we speak. All right, and we believe why? Because we were given the gift of faith. But also, our faith comes with works. Our works, beginning with being out there in the highways and the edges, this is the number one thing. And then after that is how we move around each other and how we work within ourselves. It's three phases. It's first preaching the word of Yahweh Shah. Second, making sure, you take, the brotherhood, the relationship and everything that we have, the brotherhood is taken care of, the ups and downs that come with it. And then third, it's about working yourself. All right? Paul spoke about the inner man. All right? You got to work yourself. We all here to be healed. And to be healed, we got to be given this what? Those bitter herbs, which is this gospel. But the thing is, you got guys that want to, they like, you got the herbs. Everybody is sick. Now, we come out here because we sick. But the Lord gave us the light to see that, hey, we sick, but there's a cure. But then you come into a house full of individuals that are sick. Imagine, brother, we all sick. You come in a house, everybody in this place is here knowing they're sick. And then the cure is right there, and you got guys passing the cure, but they themselves don't take it. I'm like, where do you go? How in the world are you going to be passing the cure to everybody, but you yourself, you don't want to take that pill, that cure? Now you walking around as a whole damn hypocrite. What?
It's the book of James, chapter 1, verse 21. And it says, wherefore lay apart all filthiness and superfluity of naughtiness, and receive with meekness the engrafted word which is able to save your soul.
Yeah, and you got to receive meekness and humility. As you said, the meek shall inherit the world. Shall inherit the earth. So even the church goers know that, man. The meek are going to inherit the earth. Who are the meek? It's us. Now we're not gonna come out here and spill out guts and give and let everybody know our personal life. Nah, man, that's not just like the men of the Lord. When the Bible was written, it wasn't about their personal life, personal lives that they were going through. It's all about preaching the word and putting an example. But I will tell you this: the things that we go through our personal lives, the reason why we are able to explain these scriptures to the extent that we are is because we're able to see those things that happen in personal life, study it with the scriptures, and that's how we get to understand it. We don't just get to understand it because we read the scriptures. We get to understand it because we read the scriptures, then we go into the world, shit happens, and it makes us get the understanding of what the scriptures talking about. That's how it goes. Right?
It's the book of James chapter 1, verse 21. It says, wherefore lay apart all filthiness and superfluity of naughtiness, and receive with meekness the engrafted word which is able to save your soul.
Yeah, naughtiness is, you already know, that's what it's talking about. It's defects that you have. You have to be able to check yourself, because you examine yourself. You got guys that don't do that. So they'll be, that's why we went to the parable, they'll be in the truth for a little while, you know, but they're not checking themselves. So eventually, the Lord said, you know what, I can't do nothing with you, man. You know what I'm saying? I can't do nothing for you. Because you out here healing everybody, but you ain't healing yourself. And now you become the problem. And I can't use you, because remember, we vessels. All right, but we can't be 10 vessels. The scripture says that we're supposed to be looked at as without blemish. If we believe in Yahweh, He's going to help us, man. All right?
Going into that word superfluity is going into, you know, that excess that you still have, that you still need to work on after you come in the truth. Because, you know, a brother may come into the truth and may stop doing certain things, but there's still things that we all have deep down that we need to work on.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what the Lord, you know, requires.
Yeah, and it's going to come out because Yahweh shines the light. And what the light does, it exposes things. So Yahweh shines exposing us to ourselves. Man, it's, over the years, man, you know, there's certain things, I'm like, damn, I don't know I was really like that. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, the whole time you walk around the world like, not even noticing it, and instead of like, oh, dang, man, I didn't know I was really like that. I got to kill that. I got to work on that. That shit got to go. If I want to continue to have real hope, or I could decide to lie to myself, right? Remain the same, and hope I'm gonna be saved. And then when the Lord, I said, then when the chariots come down, beam people up, and then they'll go back up in the atmosphere, you still here. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because you was like, nah, I'm gonna live in delusion, like ain't nothing wrong with me. So everything gonna be Gucci, baby. Nah, the Lord sees everything. He knows the reins and the hearts of men. All right, the subconscious. But,
It's book of Sirach, chapter 37, and verse 17. So like in verse 19, it says, there is one that is wise and teacheth many, and yet is unprofitable to himself. You know, just like the Rashi was saying, man. You know, you can't just talk the talk. You got to actually walk the walk, man. You got to be about it. When situations arise, you have to apply the same things that you talk about.
absolutely, absolutely. That's key. How do I get understanding? That's how you get understanding. There's no other way to get understanding. Everything else is what you heard from somebody. You know what I'm saying? Which ain't nothing wrong. You know, of course you gotta hear the truth from the men of the Lord. But the understanding is gonna come when you get faced with trials and tribulations, right? Like the parable of the soul, persecution and trials arise, by he's offended. Like, because of the word, he's offended. And some guys, you know, like us, hopefully the Lord keeps us in the same mindset and say, you know what, we get it, the Most High should show us something. Listen, and then when he shows you, you're like, okay, bang, now I know. Because the Lord will show you. You're like, okay, bang, okay, that's one of my weaknesses. Okay, cool, let me focus on it. That's what the Lord, that's the level that the Lord wants me to deal with this year. And then the next year, he's going to reveal another level that you didn't even know about. Like, okay, bang, I gotta work on that level. That's how it is. And then when you go back to the scriptures, you read the scriptures and they gotta go see like you see it like, oh shit. I read these scriptures for years. And you're like, man, I read this for years. Now I'm seeing what the scriptures really talking about. That's understanding comes from experience. Being of God, being humble.
That's how you know the Christian church is bullshit, man. And there it is, you know, we're talking about this, you know, this improvement that we need to do, but yet they'll tell you that we already saved. Or when you bring up that they need to make improvements, they'll say that you can't judge them. So how you gonna make the improvements in order to get saved?
Yeah,
You know?
God can judge
Yeah.
you. So Tupac shit.
Yeah, exactly.
This is Colossians chapter 3, verse 5. Mortify therefore your members which are upon the earth, fornication, uncleanliness, inordinate affection,
Yeah.
evil,
Yeah, inordinate affection. I mean, of course, you know, the world is, you know, supposed to, you know, the whole homosexuality bullshit. But also, you have different kinds of inordinate affection. You can be affected. You can have an affection for things. You know, you got guys that worship things. They worship cars, even women. You know, like worshiping a woman. That's not a natural, ordinary. What? Worshiping a woman is unordinary, man. Like it's not how you're supposed to be doing. But when does it mean to worship a woman, bro? Anything that's the center of your attention and your focus is what you worship. Like us, we worship Jehovah Shemashah. That's why we are relentlessly, right? Out here in the house of the edge, teaching the word and study. Because we worship Yahweh. It's the single focus and purpose of our existence. Well, if a woman is that, or a car, or a house, or business, that's who we worship. That affection is off. The Lord does not want to come in second place. All right?
Usually you can find out that you worship them by seeing how much time you spend with them.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
The word worship goes to like being worthy.
Praise.
Yeah, exactly. So if you find yourself doing that with a woman, you might want to check that.
Yeah.
You know? Spend your time with a woman, devoting all your time.
Yeah, chasing women, which, we already established it, man. Men are not supposed to chase women, bro. Like, how many times? And we speaking to the men of the Lord, because we know niggas are niggas, man. Niggas gonna do what niggas do. They traumatized, and, most of our people, they come from single mother homes, so they're not taught how to be men. You can't be taught how to be a man by your mom. A man needs to teach you how to be a man, so, but the thing that we realize is this: you don't chase a woman. The woman's supposed to chase you. That's how I know. Lions, because they talking about, lions. Man, lions don't chase. It's the lioness that fucking do the hunting, man. They got this shit on flip. Talking about, a lion is supposed to be chasing. Man, lions be out here chilling. The only time a lion will do something when he got to destroy another lion and try to take over the crowd. That's his business. We got to make sure he takes care of business. But the hunting, the chasing, and all that, but if you ever understand it, then you can focus on the word of the Lord instead of focusing on things that's temporary and going to destroy.
Back in 2 Corinthians chapter 4, in verse 14, it says, knowing that, let me finish off the latter half of 13. It says, we having the same spirit of faith, according as it is written, I believe, and therefore have spoken. We also believe, and therefore speak, knowing.
We saw about the Lord in affection about them two fucking foodies walking around there. And Jeremy, they going down the steps and seeming, against the shooter. And he started wanting to fucking kiss each other. Right? Turn off. No, I don't know, but they moved to because at first I'm like, I thought it was like once you hold on to a mentally ill motherfucker. That's what I thought. All right, we're doing some mentally autistic Hey, you know what? That's Babylon. That's Sodom and Gomorrah. It's all of that, all in one. All right? And that's the reason why, one of the main reasons why the United States of America, aka the virgin daughter of Babylon, will be destroyed by those according to the Bible. Right?
That's what we talked about last week, is how a lot of people out here got demons. It's really demonic possession.
Yeah.
You know? You got purged. You got to get rid of it. You got to purify it.
They need to be burned. They need to be burned, man. That's the reason why America's going to be nuked, because that's how you deal with abominations and abominable individuals, man. They got to, the spirit got to be burned out of them, man. That's the only way. The spirit got to get burned out of them. That's the judgment of the Lord. Right?
It says, knowing that he which raised up the Lord, Yahushua Mashiach, shall raise up us also by Yahushua, and shall present us with you. For all things are for your sakes, that the abundant grace might through the thanksgiving of many redound to the glory of the Most High.
Right.
That's it. Yeah, it says, verse 16, for which cause we faint not.
Yeah.
But though our outward man perish,
Yeah, although, the outward man perish, brothers, we came in there, we was young. We still, for the most part, a lot of us still in our prime, but the body was breaking down, Yeah, it's like, hit, hurt, like, man, damn, I'm in my 30s, bro, like, what the hell, man? Back pain, we dying, man. That's why the Lord got to come, to get us up out of here. And we physically would die. Every day that comes by brings you closer to death. And then when you have all this pressure, all the pressure that comes with being the truth and things that you want to do, the importance of the gospel, you know, it weighs on you, man. You know, but it's not something that you want to get rid of. It's not like a boulder, but it you know, sometimes it weighs. So you want, you know, we don't want to be here. We don't want to do this forever. All right, we don't want to preach the word forever. We don't want to be in Babylon forever. At some point, we want this thing to be done with, man. That's what we complain to the Lord. All right, what?
It says, though the outward man perish, yet the inward man is renewed day by day.
That's right. But the thing is, although we die on the outside, and the inside, man, it's a new being that's being built up. That's being brought up to the surface. You know, we become better men, better Israelite men. You know, better brothers. You know? And that brings us closer, why? Because we believe in Yahweh. And that brings us closer and closer to what? To the kingdom of heaven, which is going to be established on earth. Right? That's the reason why we ain't tripping at the body was breaking down, brothers getting older at a faster rate. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, the inner man is becoming better in the spirit. All right? But
It says, for our light affliction, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory.
yeah.
While we look not at the things which are seen,
Yeah, it's a light affliction. It's a light affliction. The thing is, it's long because we suffer in the flesh. But 400 years of captivity, us doing the work wrong be done, but it's still not going to compare to a lifetime of everlasting life of happiness, joy, and goodness. I mean, because when she deep into like, let's say, 5,000 years of rulership, you'll be like, damn, man, you know what? It was only just 400 years. I mean, we still don't remember the pain, but you're like, hey, man, listen, we already 5,000 deep into this thing. You know what I'm saying? You're 5,000 years deep into this thing, baby. Next thing you know, 10,000. Oh, so this keep going. 20,000, 30,000, 100,000. Like, hold up. This is going to keep going. You telling me some Edomite motherfucker ain't gonna rise up and the nations ain't gonna rise up. Nobody gonna stop this thing ever. So you say, hey, so I was like, you know what? Hey, that's why it can't be compared to what we're going through right now.
It's like a road trip. Road trips are always, they always seem longer than you going there and coming back.
That's true. That's true. But that's real true statement. I just didn't put you. I felt like forever, you know, finally getting down to man, but on the way back, that's true.
verse 18, it says, while we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen.
Right.
For the things which are seen are temporal,
Right.
but the things which are not seen are eternal.
Yeah, because we talked about tangibility. We get on Hebrews 11:1. It's tangibility, it's spiritual tangibility. All right. The thing is that that's the gift. That's a great gift that we can give. Right. We believe in the world being established, or the world of righteousness being established. That's why we willing and able to give up the things this world has to offer. Right? Because we actually see things. Like, if we know it's gonna happen, without a doubt. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's like statements like I just made, right? We 5,000 years deep into this. People don't think about that. Like, what are you talking about? 5,000 years deep into some righteous kingdom where you never die, you never be sick. Your women bow down to you, your children listen to you. Come on, man. You got slaves. I'm like, man, that's to them. They're like, man, that's delusion. You know, and that's what you see in the comic book. Yeah, these guys are delusional. They don't believe. Faith can look. Hey, faith can come as being delusional to a non-believer. So I don't blame them for feeling like, what the hell's wrong with you, man? What are you talking about? I get it. I know it appears delusional to you, but hey, you know what? We'll take that. We'll take that. We'll see. We'll see. Right? We'll see. Right?
It's like the air. Just because you can't see the air, that don't mean that it's not there.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's big. That's big. Because the angel even said that the angel, like, you grasp the wind. You wait the wind. He said, if you do that, then maybe I'm going to give you some assistance. So, like, it's there. But you know, you don't see it, but it's there. Right? Right?
Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1.
What?
Now faith is the substance of things hoped for,
Right?
the evidence of things not seen.
Yeah. Faith is the substance. Read it again.
It's Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1.
Right?
Now faith is the substance of things hoped for.
Yeah, the substance of things hoped for. Another word for substance is understanding. When you break down the word substance, sub means understanding, understanding of things hoped for. So read that scripture again. Instead of using the word substance, use the word understanding.
It's Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1.
Right.
Now faith is the understanding of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen.
There you go. See, it sounds a little different. So it's no longer just that substance, it's an understanding. So we understand, we know that this is the truth. Alright? This ain't no magical fairy tale book. Alright? This is the truth. And everything that the book says is happening. It's for prophecy. Like, you see what's going on now? America's in the brink of what? Economical collapse. And every year it's like it's getting closer. It takes a what? A crash. Right? We had the gas prices go up with the last year. Now you got the banks and all that. There's signs that let you know the big crash is coming. And when the big crash comes, everything's gonna change. Because money is the blood of a nation. So if you let this thing bleed out, you're gonna see the difference in America. America's gonna start to turn blue. You know that's what happens when you start losing your blood. You don't have enough blood, you start to turn blue. Or pale. Right? And that's exactly what you're gonna see. You're gonna see pale faces, man. You're gonna see anger in the streets. You're gonna see riots. You're gonna see empty stores. Alright? These people are not farmers. People they don't have no land. These people don't hunt. Come on, man. Especially these people like in the city, man. Especially the city people, right? The cities are gonna be a coffin. Let me get that Ezekiel 6. I think it's Ezekiel 6. You know, so you got as far off. So down family. 6 and 17.
It's the book of Ezekiel. Yeah, it's the book.
Yeah, I think so.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 6, verse 12.
Right.
And it says, he that is far off shall die of the pestilence,
Right?
and he that is near shall fall by the sword.
You did it good?
Yep. It's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 6, verse 12.
Right?
He that is far off shall die of the pestilence.
Yeah, you guys far off shall die of the pestilence, right? The multiple diseases that are gonna come out pretty soon, because hey, boy, Bill Gates been busy. You know what I'm saying? Bill Gates told us that, hey man, C-19 was just phase 1. He believes that something else is coming. I'm like, how do you know that, man? I thought pandemics was once in a lifetime type thing, once in a generation. You know what I'm saying? Now you get pandemics every year or every 2 years. A virus isn't, from what you said, a virus is supposed to be two organisms coming together, binding themselves, and becoming deadly to the human body. Well, that doesn't happen though. When you find out, hold up. It's man-made. It's a man taking two organisms in the lab, binding those organisms together, and it becomes destructive to the human being, to the human beings. Of contagion. So you're gonna have multiple so-called diseases, or pestilence out there. All right. Some of them people gonna drop dead. Others people gonna live with it, then eventually drop dead. And that's gonna be real. That's gonna bring fear. You thought it was COVID or something. And then now that we know that these niggas are afraid, because remember, it was a shock to see niggas stay home. Street niggas, gang niggas, all them tough ass niggas, man. When the government say, yo, y'all niggas need to stay home. Niggas stay at home during COVID. Scared. Start calling for the niggas like, really? Now we know. When Esau comes down on you niggas, man, all that fake gangster tough guy, all that shit, man, that's gonna go away. What?
It says, the book of Ezekiel, chapter 6, verse 12.
What?
Lucky. And it says, he that is far off shall die of the pestilence,
Right?
and he that is near shall fall by the sword, and he that remaineth and is besieged shall die by the famine.
Yeah, you're gonna have this, people gonna be, like I said, our people gonna be besieged, and especially in the cities. The cities are gonna turn into coffins. You know, like I said, these people don't know how to hunt. They don't know how to do nothing, man. So when the stores are empty, they're gonna turn into cannibals. You're gonna see women eating their children. You're gonna see dudes like cooking. You're gonna see some niggas on the corner cooking in the pot. You thinking they're cooking food, they're cooking their children. And it's gonna be, after a while, because remember the first bite, it's gonna be a struggle, but human beings have shown they can adapt. After a while, niggas gonna work around with human legs in their mouth like it's a chicken wing.
I can say this, that's crazy that you brought that up, because at work this week, I overheard, like, you overhear these conversations that other people be having, and I overheard this Edomite talking about how he tasted imitation human meat, and he was basically talking about how it tastes like pork. It's not that bad. And I was like, wow. So, like the Raj was saying, man, when that time comes, these people, they're already getting their mind geared. They're already being geared to what's about to happen. Right? It's like you said, it's going to be some perilous times, man. It's going to be dangerous.
Absolutely. That's why we want to be on the good side of the Lord when the wrath of the Lord comes around. Because the damage that the Lord is going to do to Babylon before the nukes even show up, it's going to be crazy, bro.
It's kind of funny that you say that because I had the same conversation at work. We were talking about a random scenario, like let's say if we all wake up on a plane crash, what they would do to the sky. And the first thing that came out of this dude's mouth, which is a Edomite, yeah, I mean, after I'm gonna start eating. I'm gonna have to watch y'all back. You know? And we all laugh, but in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, he might be acting like it's a joke, but he's dead serious.
Yeah,
he's dead serious.
I mean, because famine, the worst type of death is dying of hunger, man. That's a real bad death. You got your stomach, your body is eating itself, and now you see these skeletons, and yeah, man, it's like you see them with children in those third world countries, man, where you like, damn, bro, like even like Yemen, when they get completely destroyed by Saudi Arabia, you see the famine over there is crazy. The children, you see the ribs, you see the rib cage showing itself. You know what I'm saying? And the skull, the shape of the skull is popping out. The eyes popping out, looking like skeletons. It's a tough way to go, man. We know these things are coming. That's why we ain't trying to be a part of that. You know what I'm saying? The Lord said we're gonna eat. We don't know how it's gonna happen. But hey, we have faith. We have faith, we're gonna eat. We have faith that these things are not gonna touch us. What?
Yeah. This is Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 7. It says, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it.
Oh, as a matter of fact, read the verse ahead before you read that.
This is Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 6. It says, ask ye now, and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail?
Yeah, man. So that's what? What's that? Those contractions. Yeah, labor pain. Right. That's what a woman is holding. She's screaming and all that. Well, the Lord is saying, Jeremiah's having a vision. He's seeing men just wilding out, screaming like women. These tough guys they're gonna be squealing, man, like women. You be like, man, wasn't that Jody the Lord neighborhood gangster? Now he out here crying like a little bee. You know what I'm saying? All that tough guy shit is out the window. Why? He's looking at a 7'2", big ass fucking Russian with a weird ass army fatigue that he's never seen before, that don't speak no lick of English, with a big belt, with a big gun facing his head, man. after, but by the way, the dude already killed his mama, his sister. They all did. Now he's sitting there like, no answer. No answer. You want to be that guy? Because that's what the scripture tells you in 2nd Ezra. That the Northern Command is going to be going through houses, killing. Most of you niggas won't even make it to the concentration camp. Because your woman's big mouth, or your mama's big mouth, or your emotional ass self, they're going to have to light your ass up in the house because you're too emotional. You won't even make it to the camp. Man, listen. It's going to be some crazy shit.
It's 2nd Ezra chapter 16 and verse 31. Oh, for real? Oh, yeah. 2nd Ezra chapter 16 and the point is in verse 33, but it says, verse 31, even so, in those days, there shall be 3 or 4 left of them that search their houses with the sword.
Yeah.
And the earth shall be laid waste, and the fields thereof shall wax old, and her ways and all her paths shall grow full of thorns, because no man shall travel there through.
Yeah, man. It's kind of like, what's that series that you saw? Maybe The Last of Us? The Last of Us, when they had the virus. Oh, yeah, you probably got to check that shit out. It looks weird as F, though, man. But yeah, man. It's like, I think it's like 9 episodes. Yeah, it's a virus that, fungus, man, got people looking, got people's brains looking like straight fungus. But the whole atmosphere, because the virus killed a lot of people, society collapsed. So the whole place looks like the Book of Eli, that scenario, where the cars parked, nobody's really driving, but a few people that are driving, you got all kinds of madness going on. Mad Max type shit. That's the type of shit going on. But the thing is, when people look around right now, they don't see that. What they see is good old strong America that will remain forever as is. That's all they see. And they're like, no, there's no way the white man's gonna let that happen to America. The Edomite man that believes in America is not on the same level as the Edomite man who is part of the elites. The Rothschild, they don't have the same time. They already made their plans and already decided that the Edomite males in America are going to be sacrificed for everybody else. Come on, man. It's going to be all races of people in the concentration. You're not going to have no, hey, this is the white concentration camp, the Negro concentration camp, the Asian concentration. Nah, man. All of you motherfuckers going to be in that, man. All of you. Arabs, Persians, Armenians, Hamites, you all going to be in the concentration camps together with Edomites. All right? That's called collateral damage. All right? Some people got to be sacrificed. Hey, even the elites don't care about all of that other Edomites. They're like, man, we going, man. They're like, man, they got underground bunkers. They're like, listen, we already know Sparta plans. A lot of our own Edomites, they're going to die too. All right? We're going to have to get rid of them too. Just to make an example, you got the reason why the elites made sure that the average Edomite in America has no idea that we're the Israelites. He made sure that so that we could continue to be brainwashed. Because if the average Edomite knew, then eventually it would spill out. So to make sure that Israel stays asleep, he had to make sure Edomites around Israel was also asleep about that. Man, that's some genius shit, man. Think about that. I'm gonna let some of my people be dumb. Because if they're dumb and they're around these slaves, then the slaves will never know, because even the slave masters are dummy. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man. They got everybody in the chip bag. Right?
Verse 33, 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 33.
Right?
It says, the virgin shall mourn, having no bridegroom. The woman shall mourn, having no husband.
Yeah, because there's going to be a draft. Because right now people are lining up to join the military. Jake's not lining up to join the military. Nah, because the reason why Jake's not lining up to join the military is because they know that they know what we know about the military, man, about the DA and all that. And no, you go out there, get your leg blown off, you come back and find out your woman's committed adultery, and now there's no compensation for your efforts and for your service. All you're going to say is, hey, man, thank you for your service. Hey, man, I just got my leg blown off. Now I'm a homeless out here begging for change. That's the reward that you get for being a soldier for a month. You get your fucking shit blown off. You come back, find out your woman committed adultery. And then, now you're in a damn corner by the light begging for money. What's that scripture? Somebody says, a soldier that's a soldier that's poverty. Nah.
I just wanted to say that when you go to like say get your license from the DMV, you have to opt in for selected service, meaning that when the draft comes, they can call you at any given time, man. You know, they can call you at any given time. So if you're over the age of 18, and you're a male, you have your license, or you have anything that you need, like your social security or whatever, they can call you at any time to basically go and fight their war.
That's true.
I'm gonna read that again.
Yeah, bro.
This is
Sirach 26 and 28. Sirach chapter 26.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 26.
You know, there's a reason why. Because you always hear why they call women birds. The way they sound. You know, like, you know what I mean? Like you just like, no, you don't scream for real. Like, it's the same sound. Because it was some birds. It was some birds right there. It was the same bird sound that was right here, bro. Who raised you? You know that sound, that bullshit. Yeah, it is. Hey, man. But anyway.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 26, verse 28. And it says, there be two things that grieve my heart, and the third maketh me angry. A man of war that suffered poverty. And it says, there be two things that grieve my heart, and the third maketh me angry.
Right?
A man of war that suffered poverty.
A man of war that suffered. Like that's why I wasn't gonna join, man. Because you know they all came to us in high school, right? Recruitment day or whatever. So this nigga, this bald head nigga standing there talking about how great the military is and all this and shit. If I remember well, as a kid already, I was already like questioning. I remember saying, man, why do you have, how is it that basketball players make that kind of money and soldiers don't make that? He was like, well, it's different profession and all that. Next thing you know, you get a tap on the shoulder. Get you gotta get out. Scumbags. Because there's no answer to that. How in the world am I going to Afghanistan and Iraq and all these different places, killing families, getting my legs blown off, and then they said, well, yeah, your payment is 160K or two. Even, yeah, a lot of times 60K, 80K, 160K. Like, but then you got niggas dribbling the ball making millions. So I'm like, I'm gonna go and die so that these motherfuckers can make millions? And I'm gonna come home and stay in the corner in the light begging for money? Nah, bro. To me, that's despicable, man. Warriors, man, look, I believe every warrior should be a millionaire. I believe the poorest military man should have at least $1 million. There's no fucking way, man. Your warriors are broke. And then you got all these entertainers making money. So I'm like, bro, you thank you for your service. Yeah, how about you give up that leg like I did, nigga? You ain't gonna do that. America's scum, man. Go ahead, man.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 26, verse 28. You know, it's crazy because even Yahushua, his warriors, the black bottom, they gonna be rich.
Hell yeah.
So it's contrary.
It's bad, man. It's horrible, man. You courageous and you're going to lay down your life for cowards. You courageous and you broke. And you got these cowards out here who wouldn't even go out there and fight no damn war. Now they're making niggas spit.
It says, book of Sirach, chapter 26, verse 28. It says, there be two things that grieve my heart, the third maketh me angry. A man of war that suffers problems,
Right?
and men of understanding that are not set by,
Right?
and one that returneth from righteousness to sin. The Lord prepares such as one.
Yeah, man. You had a taste of his righteousness, and then you decide that, you know what? Nah, I want to go back to being a grimy nigga. Well, the Lord said, a guy like that, man, an individual like that, he deserves nukes. You know what I'm saying? He deserves the most. I said, nah, I got to nuke. I have to nuke. You deciding that you had a taste of the light, and you said, nope, that's not my thing. I want to go back into the dark. Nah. The Lord said, you got to get nuked.
It's the book of 2 Peter, chapter 2, verse 20. For if after they have escaped the pollution of the world, through the knowledge of the Lord and Savior, Mashiach Yahushua, they are again entangled therein and overcome the latter end. Or the latter end is worse with them than the beginning.
Yeah.
For it has been better for them not to have known the way of righteousness than after they have known it.
Yeah, because that's treason. Any army, any group, any organization, any movement, traitors always get the worst type of treatment. And it's no different with Yahweh Shah. Yahweh Shah does not tolerate traitors, turncoats. You know, you turn around and all of a sudden you want to go back into the world. And, you know, the Lord said, nah, you're going to be worse. You're going to be worse because you saw the light and you decided to go back to darkness. You're going to be worse. The Lord is going to deal with you accordingly. All right? So that's the reason why we know it's no way. And we in this thing to the end. We know that we signed up for it. All right?
It says, to turn from the holy commandment delivered to them. But it is happened unto them according to the true proverb. The dog is turned to his own vomit again, and the soul that was washed to her. Wallow.
Yeah, and the thing is about, I don't know if you ever seen a dog vomit. That's a horrible sight. You see him just go, and then he'll come back and smell it, and he'll put his tongue on it and look like that. So you understand the same. It's grimy when you see that shit, man. The Lord say that's what it's like when you go back into the world after you had to take some job. That's different, man. We don't want to go back into the world, man. Listen, there's nothing in the world for us. All right? There's nothing in the world for us, man. We don't love this world. We hate this world with every fiber of our beings. We can't wait for the Lord. We can't wait for the Most High to destroy Babylon, aka the United States, man, according to the Bible. We can't wait for that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's where we at. You know, you're gonna ask them, man, what do? What do you do when you wake up in the morning? Well, shit, I wake up in the morning, I pray for the downfall. I know it's hard for you to hear if you're new to this. And you're like, man, what the hell is wrong with you? Hey, you can say, well, damn, just leave. Well, that's the thing. First, we can't because we were given an order to stay and preach the word for our people. Second, it doesn't matter where you go, Babylon's reach is all over. And guess whose reach is even longer? The Most High. Wherever you go, it says you can't outrun the quick. The outstretched arms, all right, of the Lord, man.
Going back to what he said about the dog returning again to your army, you know, any brothers out there that have dogs. This is why it's important to gird up your loins as a man. Take patiently the hell that the Lord put on you. Because what a dog would do, a dog, especially if you put it outside, it will eat grass, right? And it eating grass will allow it to throw up. And they do this, dogs do this when they put in stressful situations. They'll force themselves to throw up by eating grass, and then they'll eat it again. You know, but this is what we can't do as men of the Lord, man. We put under distress, we can't turn back into that dog.
Yeah, that's a good point because and that's just what when it says, you know, God because of the trials and tribulations, because of the word, he's like, nah, man, like, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here. I'm like, hey, well, listen, if you want to get out of here, you want to go back into this world, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna be lost. You're gonna be lost like the majority of our people. So, there's all the shit. And man, you know, hey, can I ask you a question? You know about the Hebrew Israelites? I'm sure you know everybody now.
One thing I want to do, research it and see if I'm not.
We will, brother. We will. But we're gonna close out, brother.
To use this,
Definitely.
because they hide, you know,
It's all good. But appreciate you.
I was ready on this dude is not even religious, then it's just, it doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
It's not
Point.
y'all was not even
Yeah.
truth in the movies, and the lies in the movies.
All right, shit. All right, brother.
The beast. What he was saying.
We know, like, but that's how it is sometimes, man. Sometimes, listen, sometimes, because you know, the thing is, when you're coming out on the highways and the edges, it's shit you pale, right? Sometimes, you throw the hook in the water, man, and you know, a fish, sometimes you throw the hook, and what you see, you're like, ah, we blocked. Why did I even talk? You know, the whole time, I'm winning. You know what I'm saying?
Just to hammer in the point that the Shari Shad was bringing up. It's Hebrews chapter 6 in verse 4. It says, "For it is impossible for those who were once enlightened and have tasted of the heavenly gift and were made partakers of the Holy Spirit and have tasted of the good works of the Most High and the power of the world to come, if they shall fall away, to renew them again unto repentance, seeing they crucified to themselves the Son of the Most High afresh and put him to an open shame." You know, and that's basically what you do when you turn back into the world. You're pretty much trying to put your Yahushua back on the cross, man. Yeah. You know, you're trying to crucify him afresh. You know, you're putting him to an open shame.
You mocking the sacrifice that he made.
Right.
Yeah. You know, the hope that he gave you, it's like slapping a hand. It's like, let's say you're trying to climb off a pit, and then somebody stand a hand and smack that, you know. That's what it means. Like, nah, bro, like, nobody gonna deal with that. You know? But that's what it takes, man. Last 2 seconds.
Luke 9, see that verse 62. Now it's like to remember, no man has put his hand to the plow. Look at that.
That's right. So, hey, you can't. You start this work, you know, finish what you started. Start this work, you gotta look for the finish line, man. If you stop midway or close to it, nobody will remember you. All right? History will speak about the men who finished the race. That's what history in the future will be written about, is what we talk about. And we want our names to be in those books, you know, that speaks about, you know, the things that we accomplished through the spirit of power held by Shema. But if you don't finish the race, you won't be talked about. You may be reminisce if, but nobody gonna worry about you. You just failed. You want to come back as a baby. Nah, we ain't doing none of this. We're not doing all of this just to come back and keep doing this business, man. Nah, we want the big price. We know if we stay faithful to Yahushua, we're gonna get the big price, which is eternal life, the kingdom of heaven. That, you know what I'm saying? Call Allah.
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Makakodash.
Of course, we give a double honor to great millstone, Shalom, salutation. Isis and Akim, for the four winds, the strong, the faithful. I'll rush my shop off the down, but I should come to that.
Shalom, shalom.